Hey everyone, welcome back to another reading update. Uh, let's not waste any time. This week I finished Dawn by Octavia Butler. And with that, I've now read my very first Octavia Butler novel. And this is one of those science fiction books that has been sitting on my TBR for a long time now, because Butler is such an influential author. She's one of those writers that almost everyone in the science fiction community seems to recommend. So I was really curious to finally see what all the praise was about. Uh, and the premise of this book is actually really good. Humanity has essentially destroyed itself, and a few remaining survivors are rescued by a mysterious alien race. And the main character wakes up years later aboard an alien spaceship with almost no idea what's happened or why she's there. And from the very beginning, there's this constant sense of uncertainty. You don't know if the aliens can be trusted, what their long term goals are, or whether humanity has actually been saved at all. And that mystery was easily my favorite part of the book. I was basically just flying through the first half uh, because I constantly wanted to know what was going to happen next. And Butler does an excellent job of slowly revealing information without giving away too much. And the aliens themselves are incredibly unique. They don't just feel like humans with funny faces, they genuinely think different and have completely different motivations, which made every interaction feel interesting. And I think that's something that's hard to pull off. I also appreciated how the novel explores questions about humanity, identity, and whether survival is worth sacrificing certain parts of ourselves. It's definitely the kind of science fiction that focuses more on ideas and characters than on action. But unfortunately, somewhere around the halfway point, the book started to lose me. Once the initial mystery was mostly revealed, I found myself much less invested in where the story was going. The pacing slowed down quite a bit, and I wasn't nearly as interested in the conflicts that became the main focus of the second half. Now I can absolutely understand why this book has become such a classic and why so many people love it. And Butler is clearly a talented writer. And I think a lot of themes will stay with me. But personally, the second half just didn't have the same impact as the opening chapters. And because of that, I don't think I'll be continuing the trilogy anytime soon. Never say never. I might come back to it in a while, but for now I'd rather explore some of Butler's other novels instead. And I still want to read more of her work because I can definitely see why she's considered one of the great science fiction authors. And so after finishing Dawn, I picked up The Republic of Thieves by Scott Lynch. This is the third book in the Gentleman Bastards series. Now I'm still fairly early in the book, but I'm already enjoying it noticeably more than the Red Seas Under Red Skies. Now don't get me wrong, I still like the second book well enough, but after The Lies of Locke Lamora, which is one of my favorite fantasy novels of all time, it felt like a bit of a step down. The first book had such an incredible setting, unforgettable characters, and one of my favorite fantasy places ever, that was almost going to be difficult to follow. Thankfully, the Republic of Thieves seems to be bringing back several things that I loved about the first book. And one of the biggest positives is that we spent some time back in Camer. Returning to that city immediately made me feel more at home in the series. And Camer has so much personality that simply being back there makes the story more enjoyable for me. And the flashbacks chapters have also been excellent so far. One thing I've always liked about the series is seeing Locke and the rest of the Gentleman Bastards when they were younger. And this book introduces the final member of the gang, who has only really been mentioned in passing in the previous novels. And it's been fun finally getting to know the character and seeing the complete group together. And the main storyline also appears to be much more focused on politics than either of the previous books. Instead of elaborate heists or pirate adventures, we're dealing with elections, political maneuvering, manipulation, and rival factions trying to outsmart each other. Now, normally that isn't something I immediately gravitate towards in fantasy, but Scott Lynch writes dialogue and schemes so well that I'm really interested to see where it all goes. And his characters are always trying to outwit each other, so even conversations can become incredibly entertaining. And at this point, I'm optimistic that this could end up being my second favorite book in the series. Although I still think it would be very difficult for anything to beat The Lies of Locke Lamora. Oh, and I'm also reading the first volume of Silver Spoon. That's part of my goal of reaching 100 subscribers. And I promise that once I hit that milestone, I'll finally give this manga a proper try. So yeah, that's why I'm reading it now. And this manga is written by Hiromo Arakawa, which is probably a name that sounds familiar to a lot of manga fans, because it's also the creator of the incredibly popular Full Metal Alchemist. And after finishing one of the most beloved manga series ever, she apparently decided to do something completely different and wrote a story about life at an agricultural high school. And that's quite a change of pace. And I thought that alone made it an interesting choice to pick up. And while I was reading, I actually got curious about what Arakawa is working on these days. So I kind of looked her up, and that's when I discovered she's currently drawing the manga adaptation of The Heroic Legend of Arslan, a Japanese novel series written by Yoshiki Tanaka. And that immediately caught my attention because Yoshiki Tanaka is already a familiar name on this channel. He is of course the author of The Legend of the Galactic Heroes, which I've talked about quite a bit before. And so I think it's funny how these connections keep popping up. I started reading a manga because I want to celebrate a subscriber milestone, and then I discovered it's by the creator of Full Metal Alchemist, and now she's adapting a series by an author I'm already reading. It's funny how that works sometimes. But as for Silver Spoon itself, I'm really enjoying it so far. It's a surprisingly grounded and realistic story. There isn't some huge fantasy adventure or world-ending conflict. Instead, it focuses on everyday life at an agricultural school. And somehow it manages to make it genuinely engaging. And what I've appreciated most so far is that it doesn't shy away from difficult topics. Farming isn't always romanticized, and the manga is willing to show some of the harsher realities that come with raising animals and producing food. And it presents those subjects in a thoughtful and honest way, which I think makes the story even more interesting. And at the same time, it's also just a really fun read. The characters are likable, and there are plenty of humorous moments, and it's been very easy to keep turning the pages. And so far, it's been a great introduction to coming back to reading manga again. Now I'm not planning to rush through this volume. I think it's one I'll read alongside my novels, taking my time with it, and if I continuing enjoying it as much as I am now, there's a very good chance I'll make a dedicated review once I've actually finished it. And as for novels, my next read will be Falling Free by Lewis McMaster Biold. And this will be my fourth for Kozuka novel in publication order. That's how I'm reading it, although it's actually the first story chronologically in the universe. I've really enjoyed my journey through the For Kozuka saga so far. Every book I've read has offered something slightly different, and Biold has quickly become one of those authors whose books I'm always excited to pick up. And from what I've heard, Falling Free is quite different from the other For Kozuka novels. It's also more of a standalone story, and it just focuses on a completely different cast of characters. And I'm actually looking forward to that, because let me explore another part of this universe before continuing with the main series. And I've also heard a lot of people describe it as one of Biold's strongest science fiction novels. So my expectations are definitely fairly high. Hopefully it will continue my streak of really enjoying the series. So yeah, overall I feel like this week was a bit of a mixed bag. Dawn started incredibly strong, but ultimately didn't live up to its opening for me, while The Republic of Thieves has been a pleasant surprise, and it's actually made me much more excited about continuing reading the series. And hopefully by the next update I'll have finished The Republic of Thieves and started Falling Free, so then I'll have plenty more to talk about. And as always, let me know down in the comments what you've been reading recently. Have you read any Octavia Butler? And do you actually think I should eventually continue with the Xenogenesis trilogy? And if you've read The Republic of Thieves, no, don't say anything. Anyway, thanks so much for watching, and I hope to see you again in the next video.